Obviously, over the last 10 years, you've been one of the best central defenders around. So what do you think makes a good central defender? What kind of key aspects do you think you have to be a good central defender?
I think reading the game, being in a good timing, good positioning, that requires a lot of focus, concentration, and I think that's one of the most important things as a defender.
And you have to talk a lot with your teammates on that as well, because obviously you'll all have to be in a line, don't you? You have to move up and down at the right time too.
Yeah, I think that's something very important to help your teammates, cover the players around you, give option with the ball, give good passes, create something positive, give energy when you feel the team is a bit tired, or you have to feel the game. That's something important.
And is that something you're good at as well? Is that something you see as one of your key skills?
Yeah, I think that's one of my strengths. Yeah.
When you were a kid, when you were young, who were the defenders that you looked up to? Were you watching players play on television and thinking, I want to be like them one day?
It's difficult to say. A lot of players. I was used to watch all defenders, but yeah, obviously Lilian Thuram as a French defender was very important for me. Rio Ferdinand as well, I have to say, and yeah, many other defenders.
And when it comes to playing at the back, clearing the ball is a fundamental part of the job as well. You lead United stats for clearances this season, so what's the secret to that? Is it you've got to anticipate where the ball's going to come? Have you got to be in the right place at the right time? How do you kind of do that?
Yeah, I think to read the game, I mean, as a defender, you have to feel where is the danger, which space you have to cover, how to anticipate the movement from the striker, especially in the box, because you don't have that time enough to say, okay, I can recover after, because the goal is close. So you have to be aware about the distances with your striker. And yeah, read the game, read the players on the ball, when he can pass the ball or not, when he's under pressure or not. So that all that kind of things to be in the right moment, in the right position, and then it's about timing.
And you mentioned anticipating the striker. How do you do that? Is it based on if you've played against this guy before, you know kind of what he's going to do, or what's the kind of thinking behind it? Do you follow where he goes, or do you know where he's going to go before he does it?
Yeah, you have to read first the players on the ball, if they can pass or not, because they are under pressure. Then you have to read the body language from the striker to see if he's ready to run at the back or if he wants to drop to receive the ball. And then it's about the timing when the ball is moving. So
is it something that comes naturally, or is it something you have to learn and coach with experience? Obviously, you've played over 500 games. So is it something you've got better at over the years?
I think when you're a young player, you need to work on it. You have to watch many videos, many actions to see, okay, that's what I felt on the pitch, and I can compare with what's happening when you have the overview of everything. And then with more experience, you know what you feel on the pitch, it's what's happening. And when it's not, you have to have a look on video, but normally you feel it on the pitch.
And a lot of the clearances will be headed clearances, headers. The game against Liverpool in particular in December, I think you had a lot of headers, a lot of headed clearances. So how do you go about beating an opposition centre forward in the air? Is it about timing? Is it about strength? Is it about, again, being at the right time?
Yeah, it's about timing. It's about read the crosses, anticipate when the striker is making runs inside the box, and then depend on the team against who you're playing. If they are more direct or more playing with short passes, so depends on the situation.
You mentioned Rio Ferdinand before, and he used to say staying on your feet is really important. Is that good advice when it comes to tackling? You've got to kind of wait for them to make the move before you make yours. You don't want to go to ground too early in case they run past you.
Yeah, I think when you go on the ground, it's the last option you have, because it's risky, and yeah, I think if you read well the situation, you don't need to. They have to force you to do it, you know. So yeah, that's as a defender, it's the last weapons you have.
And sometimes you will need to go to ground and put the tackle in, the slide tackle, and obviously we've seen Aaron Wan-Bissaka especially is really good at that. But for yourself, is that kind of like a last resort when you have to put the slide tackle in and you have to go in with everything?
I think it's a different style. Aaron, I think he's the best in the world for tackling. He's amazing. So that's the strength of him. And yeah, in my game, it's more about reading. For example, I'm sprinting less than before because I'm reading before the situation and I start running before, so I don't need to sprint. So yeah, sometimes you have to tackle, sometimes you have to sprint, but with good positioning, you have to do it less. So.
Of course, in modern football as well, passing is really important for a centre-back. I think you probably get more time on the ball than any other player on the pitch. So how important is it to be able to pick that pass and pass forward and pass sideways as well?
Yeah, it's very important. For me, when you don't have pressure, you have to dribble a little bit, to carry the ball, to force an opponent to press you, and that makes free another player from your team. And when you're under pressure, you have to see before where you want to pass the ball, to play one touch or to control in the right space to then pass the ball. So, or you play very, very quick, very fast, or you have to force them to press you.
So when you receive the ball, are you always looking first for an option, or what are you looking for when you receive the ball?
When I receive the ball, I try to know exactly where I want to pass the ball after my first touch.
You mentioned concentration before. Is that one of the hardest things about being a defender, because you can never really switch off when you're on the pitch, can you? 90 minutes you're fully concentrated. Anything can happen at any time, really.
Yeah. When I spoke with players who wasn't used to play as a centre back, and they play for first time, I'm used to ask, how was it? And the answer is always the same. It's like, I feel tired, mentally tired, because you're always aware, you're always moving and reading the game. So you're running a bit less, maybe, which is not true at the moment, because all the players on the pitch are running more and more intensity. But you have to be more alert, more focused. Yeah.
And is that also where experience comes in, because you've been doing it for such a long time? You know, you've kind of trained yourself to be able to concentrate for that long.
Yeah, I think for the young players is something to work on it, to be connected with the game, connected to the game for 90 minutes. It's not easy, so you have to train and get used to be in your bubble for that time.
And obviously when you're playing with different players at the back, do you all get used to working together as a unit and working in harmony? Does that take a bit of time and a lot of talking as well to get used to?
Yeah, of course. I think if you want to reach such level, you have to play many times with the same players to know exactly how they move on the pitch, how they go to the duels, etc. To feel more comfortable and to move together as a unit. Yeah.
And like with the communication, because when you go to Old Trafford, it's really loud, right? So do you have trouble hearing each other when you're trying to communicate, or is that something you're used to? And is there different ways that you can communicate other than talking? Is it like hand gestures or things like that?
Most of the time it's by movement, some indications. Sometimes you can hear some shouting, so you know you have to be aware from something. And during the set places, sometimes you have time enough to get closer and to give some recommendations.
One thing I really like about this United team is when one of you makes a block or a tackle, you'll all kind of like celebrate and give high fives and stuff. Do you look out for each other collectively? And because obviously you don't score many goals, do you? But when it's a tackle or a clearance, you kind of get the crowd
That's
pumped.
something we used to speak at the beginning of the season to create that enjoyment from the good defending and create that energy, that motivation to try to achieve the clean sheet. You know, that's something as a defender we want to, and I remember some discussion at the beginning of the season with my teammates when we said it's important to do it, and we can see our best performance. We did it a lot, so that's some communication very important.
And with the defenders at the moment, we've got quite a good range of ages. You've got like Willy Camboire, who's really young and coming through, and then Johnny Evans, who's obviously been here before, been around a lot. Is there a good blend at the moment, do you think? There's a good range of ages in the defence?
Yeah, we have many good defenders. There was a good mentality in the squad, positive internal competition, so it was a great spirit.
And do you see yourself as a leader within that squad as well, obviously with the experience that you have?
Yeah, I try to share that experience, give that calmness, and at the same time some tactical advices from the pitch, because with more experience you read the game and you know where you can improve and how you can move as a team to be more efficient.
And there are a lot of leaders in the United team as well, aren't there? You've got Bruno, you've got Casemiro, experienced players. Does everyone have their own like different style of leadership and how they show that on the pitch?
Yeah, I think there was many different style of leadership, and we have many players with leadership. So we try to help the young players to grow, to develop, and obviously for the team, create the spirit and the motivation to fight together for the same goal, and that's what we try to achieve.
Talked a lot about defending, but you do have a job in attack as well. You do come up for corners, try and score goals, and you scored against Wolves on the first game of the season. What's the kind of rush and the sensation like when you score a goal, and in that instance as well, celebrating in front of the Stretford end? I bet that was a great moment.
Yeah, because we are very focused on our job, on the positioning, etc., and the duels. When you score, it's the moment you can liberate that emotions. So it's a great moment, and you can share with all your teammates and the crowd. So it's a special moment always in football. Football, it's about emotion, it's about energy. So we really enjoyed it.
And watching that Wolves goal back, you kind of go up for the corner, and I think it comes out, but you stay in the box. Are you kind of there just in case it comes back in? Did you have a feeling that it might come back in? How did it work with getting yourself into that position to score?
I think you feel it. It's just instinct, and you say, okay, I will be in that space because I feel I trust the ball is gonna come here. So that's about feeling.
It's probably a tough question to ask, but does it feel better to score a goal, or does it feel better to save a goal? If you clear the ball off the line, which feels better?
For me, it's more often to clear the ball and to defend my goal. So it's probably a more special feeling to score, because I'm not scoring a lot. So when I score, it's something bigger for me.
But at the same time, you do love to get a clean sheet as well.
But I love to get clean sheet and to blocks the opponent, so make some blocks, it's a good feeling as well.
Thanks for those fascinating insights, Rafa. Just finally wanted to ask, what would you give advice if there's a youngster coming up wanting to be a defender? What piece of advice would you give them?
Well, first of all, enjoy defending, enjoy pushing yourself, enjoy improve, and Don't be afraid to go out of your comfort zone to improve. And then it's about focus and desire.